Hello. So thank you for being with us today. Today we're very fortunate to have Sebastien, our Azure Program Manager here at IT Cloud, to present the Azure Excellence Program. So let me introduce myself. I'm Sylvain Fontaine, Technical Specialist in the Pre-Sales team at IT Cloud. I'm here to assist you with Microsoft Security Solutions to explain product features, what is included and what is not included, and what possibilities exist and what are some of the limitations and how the Microsoft security solutions compare to other solutions. So thank you for joining us for this first session of the Azure Excellence Program, a program which is made up of two sessions in which we will introduce you to the Azure services that Microsoft make available to us. The goal of the program is to show you how you can transform practices of your customers in terms of the resources they use to do their jobs, but also how you, as a partner, can transform your business practice by offering additional services. Sebastian will give us the answer to what is Azure. He will also show us what can be done with Azure and how we can take advantage of it. Feel free to ask your questions in the chat and we will do our best to answer them during the presentation. However, if we're unable, we will follow up with you after the presentation. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sebastien.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sylvain, for this introduction. So, hi everyone. So, for those who don't know me as well, I am the Azure Program Manager. My role within Cloud is to promote Azure in all form as possible, sales or technical, and like today through a training. My goal is to help partners in acquisition of customer through technology. I'm here to explain, popularize, and simplify the practice and documentation of our dear manufacturer, Microsoft. Also, if you have any question about perpetual and subscription license, as Windows, SQL, Cal, and other, I'm here for that. So let's see the agenda together. The agenda today, as Sylvain mentioned, is split in two segments, two appointments. So first day of two today, we will cover some point like how understand the principle and benefit of cloud computing, learn about the main category of Azure as virtual machine and what is AVD as well. So we will take a look about advantage about it to see how we can deploy and what are the basic rules. At the end, as a third appointment, as you need, we will invite you to book a call with our specialist to continue this discussion to set up a demo, proof of concept, or something like that as you need based on your Azure subscription or maybe a free of charge could be involved. So let's set the expectation for today, sale and technical. We will pass through around 30 slides or something like that. So the following presentation is recorded and we will be able on our YouTube channel. We have planned, as Sylvain mentioned, a period at the end for FAQ. The target audience is partner with little or no experience with Azure and AVD, but also could be a great refresher for more experienced reseller. The objective of today, we want to share you with basic knowledge to help you to make your Azure sales pitch and build a solid foundation for your technical knowledge. In other words, start or expand your Azure sales. Here we go. Let's start with Microsoft Azure. Just bring a slide. So what is Microsoft Azure? It's a place where we can do some computing, database, store data, backups, recovery solution, manage identity and access, also do some hosting, development, test, and full of stuff. So in simple world, is a server room as a service in the cloud. So the Azure service are available for small businesses who want to have access to a higher level or bigger industry. As the table below, many of our partners use a wide range of service available on the Azure. So here we can take a look about the service and product we will already use from Azure. So we don't use the totality of the service because we give and provide assistance for the SMB. So we are able to talk about bigger services. We still have Microsoft with us to involve some engineer if we can or we need to have higher experience or discussion. But on a daily basis, we work to common services as virtual machine, database in the cloud, security, and other stuff like that. At the reality of the SMB for sure. In Canada, Azure services are available from two data centers, Canada Center, Toronto, and Canada East, Quebec. 70 regions and 140 countries, and this infrastructure is always growing up. Conclusion, it's not a rocket science. It doesn't need to be scary. It's only a server room, which we access remotely. Take note, please. As a Canadian CSP distributor, we can provide Canadian billing address. Customer can configure and run server into other country. They are not limited to use the Canadian data center, but the invoice from us, a distributor, need to be directly attached to a Canadian billing address. We need to know that. Azure Data Center. The following image show you a little more concrete way into a data center. There are servers as hypervisor. They are sharing their device such as hard drive, CPU, memory, and network card. From there, we install, or in other words, we deploy the operating system or platform or services and access them remotely with different software and services. It's the same way compared to the on-premise, but it's happened in a server room at Microsoft location. The beauty behind that is we don't know who, when, and how, but it's work. So roughly keep in mind, as I said, we don't really install, but we deploy. So you still have the ability to install your own operating system, but the common case is you deploy a marketplace image. So you only need to fill some answer to a form, and Microsoft Azure will deploy the machine for you. So you only need to choose about the version, edition, size, performance, or the stuff like that, and you hit the button, and Microsoft will deploy it for you. Let's take a look about the difference and the competitor way. So here we can see that Azure stand out for the service of software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure. We will take a closer look about that in a few minutes. Also, within the entire Office of 365 products and service suite, like application, Word, Excel, Outlook, but also services, Exchange Online, OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams, without forgetting the AAD integration called now Entra. Yes, Azure can also do dedicated server, but our meeting today is focused on SMB, their reality, and the product and service that can respond to them. So what we need to remember from this slide here is from IT cloud distributor perspective, with our five-star services, we are there to give you support for your reseller to use the Azure and Microsoft services and infrastructure. So under the same umbrella, we are able to play and work with all those features in same time. So this is a good advantage regarding the deployment, regarding the invoicing and the support as well. Responsibility of cloud services. The next slide will let me introduce the responsibility. This is just a little bit, a small smile regarding the reality about the cloud services. Just before to deep dive about this technical aspect, play with another concept, with a pizza as a service. Everybody will know about that. So depending of which way you want to provide pizza, homemade when you do it by yourself or maybe on premise, when you go with the community kitchen or takeaway or a party. So it depending of your responsibility, you will have different degree of depending of the service. So more at the right side we are, more we play with the advantage from the vendor. So less responsibility for the customer. This is the deal. So this is the idea about that. So from the left to the right, so we always understand this is a more advantage for the customer responsibility and from the reseller opportunity too. So when we are at the right side of the picture, it's better for the reseller to distribute a service. So the responsibility and the money is better about that for sure. If we move to the next slide about that, so just take a look about the reality of the term. So the comparison, if I just can, yeah, get the screen. So the comparison is made with the three products that we know. Azure with a VM, AVD as a platform, and Windows 365 as a service. As Microsoft always told us from the training, the best for the customer about the service, as I said, is the best from the right as a software. The best for the reseller, as I said, is recurring fee. This is the deal. We're always trying to be on the right side of the screen. Else, we can go on the left with the infrastructure as a service. So Microsoft will take care about those compute, networking, and storage, and the customer or you, the reseller, will have this responsibility. For different reason or limitation on the SMB industry, like CNC, robots on the floor, or something like that, the on-premise could be again deployed today. We are aware about this kind of reality. It could be happen. So the idea is we try to provide the best and suitable design and architecture for the final customer. So what we need to remember about this slide is where the customer come from and what he need exactly. So where we can put the service to provide the best infrastructure or platform or the software for the customer. We will talk about that later in a few slides regarding the AVD and Windows 365. We will do some comparison about that. We talk about infrastructure, platform, and software as a service. Why? What are the reason and justification? It's always depend from the customer for sure. Like we can see here, we can eliminate physical infrastructure on-prem. So when the customer want to move to Azure, this is the reason why. So focus on the business process, increase and decrease resource as needed. Keep in mind, Azure is elastic. Whenever we want, we can play with the performance and the quantity of the machine. Compared to our competitor, they tell they are scalable. From Azure, we are elastic. We can grow up and we can go back too after. And the price is always adjust. Keep in mind on the base, Azure is always pays as you go. So with the hourly rate, we can engage on agreement, but on the base is always on our fee. So you pay for what you use. No major investment, no worry about supporting device that is wasting away. So Microsoft taking care about the hardware. Remember the previous slide, Microsoft will take care about hardware and you play only with the software or the operating system. So again, into the other, if we can play first with the SaaS and after that the PaaS and infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure service allow you to move to the cloud environment could be a great idea to play with that to start the journey with your customer. We will see some opportunity in few slides. And we are able to keep the same feature as well. So, and eventually add some services. So as the customer needs, we can play with addition on service. We can increase and decrease the power of the resource too. So when the customer needs, Microsoft can provide many third-party services from the marketplace. It's very simple to respond and fast to respond too. So we can play with the flexible environment from Azure. The modern workplace. What we want to show you here is the location of the product and the services. They are all in the cloud for now. In other words, it's an on-prem serverless scenario, which allow user to work around the cloud. They got benefit from the flexibility and the security offered by the manufacturer. The in-place or remote workers can get access remotely where they are around the globe. The end user experience, the security and the performance still the same. The company will be free of charge about the on-premise responsibility regarding the infrastructure. What we need to understand here is everything from the cloud, from the security to the data, software application services. So the end user experience will be always the same. The performance and the flexibility too, because we are into the cloud. The end user is remote and they and get the power of the cloud. Compared to the next slide, the hybrid cloud. Just get out my picture. Here we go. Perfect. So the difference here with the slide is easy to see that the products and service are two different places at the same time. We have, by example, the online services in the cloud, on-prem, SharePoint, and Exchange Online, pardon me, and all the rest is still on-prem. We need to take care about the security. We need to take care about the Active Directory too, and the services application could be on site for different reason. As I said from the beginning, depending of the customer, maybe from production limitation like CNC, robots, or any other device linked to the equipment or floor operation. Also, big data could be a limitation. Speed internet or latency could be also, or maybe something linked to the invoice or operation directly. Okay, we need a more complex and secure connection like the VPN, but could be a good idea or could be a great first phase for a larger product. We can merge product by product to the cloud from the customer environment. Something about the CAD and the graphic application. Today, with the new generation of Azure VM with GPU, it's a reality. The end user can play with that, depending of the type of the usage. Remember, the remote access is only limited by the frame rate. So the final end user experience could be great depending of the type of the GPU into the VM. So if you need to have a talk about that, we can help you to estimate the usage of this kind of machine. Let's compare some difference between on-prem and Azure. Note, the idea here is to help you to develop your sales pitch, to get a better understanding of argument about the different aspect and advantage. So on-prem, everybody knows about that for sure. The customer or the reseller will be responsible about the physical installation, air conditioning, energy, and blah, 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 all of those stuff. And at the final point, it will be CapEx, capitalization for the customer. So he need to pay the money on day one to get a project about that. Compared to the Azure, so for sure, they are three game changer: the elasticity of the performance, the conditional access, and the MFA. All the rest are great as opportunity or advantage, and this is OPEX too. So depending of the customer, could be a great idea to move about that. The customer pay for what he need, what he use. But regarding the elasticity of the performance, keep in mind from Azure, we can upgrade or downgrade the size of the performance of the machine anytime. We only need to reboot the machine, so it's very fast to apply. Conditional access could be great argument about the security. So we can limit depending of the geographic position or something like that. And the MFA could be great too regarding the security. So we can limit the access if the customer doesn't have some authentication device or something else. So all those features are already included into the cloud. We only need to deploy and configure those configurations. So this is a big advantage of Azure. As I said at the beginning, the small customer can have access to bigger enterprise services. They only need to pay for that. The speed of the deployment, this is a major point too. Only a few minutes to deploy a server compared to the on-prem. Centralization management, redundant infrastructure, optimization, backup, and DR are already ready to go services. We only need to configure and deploy. We don't need to invest something else. No, this only services. We check the mark, we configure, and we are ready to go. Metric and alert is already there from the portal. Basic information. If we need more, we can pay for sure. Change, audit, and logs already accessible, and role access control is already there. We only need to configure. So the inside security from Azure is already there. Let's see the next one. Yeah, file server and migration option. It is the next question for sure. So when a customer move from on-prem to the Azure, we need to know what we can do with the files, with the data. So different way could be expected, or we can take a look. The first reaction could be SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams for sure. We will see in a few minutes about that. Azure File as a storage account could be a great idea too. Virtual NAS, this is not our solution, but we need to discuss about that for sure. Virtual server and SMB were quick. So let's talk about that. The advantage and also the disadvantage of each of them and what could be the scenario where we can apply that. So first, SharePoint and OneDrive and Teams. So for sure, the collaboration is the major point about that. If your customer need to collaborate, share information in real time, SharePoint will be the tool the customer needs. But for sure, you need to remember Teams tenant is basically available with 1 terabyte of space. So could be a limitation as we mentioned here. So depending of the usage, depending of the size, we need to take care about that. The easy access is a big advantage for sure. Integration is very easy and integrated version of versioning. So they are already included advantage. For sure, administration is different compared to the basic SMB share we play on-prem. Security management is a little bit different, for sure. We don't play with the NTFS rights as usual. And no easy way to mount a network drive. We will discuss about that in a few minutes, but if you have a customer with some habit regarding the network drive, something like that, could be a good challenge to move from a SharePoint and OneDrive to understand the new technology. Things could be also difficult to understand when the end user need to understand the difference between the map drive and the teams group sharing and other stuff like that. So could be something to note and discuss about the client could be not a good product depending on the need of the customer. Next one, the file server, Azure file, pardon me. So the storage account directly into the cloud. So this kind of scenario could be great, flexible and elastic for sure. Multiple performance option. We will play and we will use what we need exactly. We can already play with integration with the Azure Entra. And for sure, the Azure backup and security is already included because the feature is already inside or into Azure. This kind of scenario could be fine where the customer already have an NAS or something like that, or play with workgroup security without any active directory. Could be a great idea to move directly to the cloud and we can rebuild the security. So you pay for what you use, and the end user connect directly. So could be a disadvantage. So the connection we need to be secure. So a VPN could be necessary to achieve this goal. So we need to take care about, and TFS right management too is totally different. So, but if the customer already play with an NAS, pardon me, so could be not a showstopper to play with the same design into Azure. But just keep in mind, this is another way to achieve this kind of goal, and you pay for what you need, what you want. So if you need more, you play with more, and only that, and different some performance capability too. So it's depend of the customer need. Next one, the virtual NAS. This is not from our wallet of opportunity from ID Cloud, not from Azure, but we need to discuss about that. Some virtual manufacturer already provide those kind of opportunities. So we need to be honest and transparent with you. So if could be great to your customer to play with that, could be an idea to move to the cloud. It's not into Azure, but this is cloud too. So this is a good opportunity. So there is some benefit and disadvantage for sure, depending of the customer. I move this one because it's not from us. And just before the file server cloud. So this simple and usual methodology. So basically, this is a server, a file server in the cloud, and we share the file and data as we do on-prem. For sure, we need to have a secure connection, so the customer need to connect through a VPN or another security level just to be sure to limit the access. But roughly there is no space limitation. You pay for what you need, and could be a great competitively price regarding the Azure Reserve instance. We talk about that in few slides just to get a better price or saving option from Azure. The last one could be great too, depending of the need of the customer. SMB over quick. So there is some benefit about that. So roughly this is SMB share as usual from a server, but we expose the server on the web directly from 443 port. For sure, there is a SSL certificate management, but it's not a big deal, and we must expose to the web, but we can limit the access about that, and we can do that securely. I invite you to ask some information about that from us. Carl's team from the Microsoft support team from IT Cloud can provide you assistance and project management about that to deploy this kind of technology. Carl's team already have some manner to assist you to deploy that. So it could be a very great scenario when the customer need to face directly the web and share internally too. So it's kind of mix and match of solution. But as you see, there is a lot of possibility. We always need to ask the customer where they come and where he need to go, depending of the need. And there is no single solution. The customer can play with more than one in the same time too. So it's always depend. There is no all fix all. So we need to have a discussion with the customer and understand what they need and deploy the good solution about that. But as I said, we, as five-star services, IT Cloud is your distributor. You only need to have a discussion with us, and we will give you support regarding that for sure. About the file server migration by itself, about the criteria and the factor. So this is another part of the question. So we need to be aware about what we saw how, but we need to understand what we're talking about right now. So the amount of data, it could be a showstopper or could be a factor. depending of the source. So as I mentioned, from SharePoint, you have 1 terabyte of data already included in your contract. But if you need more, you can pay more per gig per month. But the invoice could be grow up fastly. So we need to understand this is hot data or cold data, where we are supposed to put and store the data. Also, the data structure. If the customer play with the network drive or with a NAS or USB disk, so it could be different destination. We talk about the usage of the user. We need to know or we need to share information and give some course of the at the end user to let him to understand what is the new technology, the change capacity adoption as we see at the screen. So regarding the network drive letter, it could be the most common issue of that. So if the end user have some limitation regarding the getting new technology, could be a showstopper. Application data access too. If we talk about Sage, Akamai, Dynacom, the client and server configuration is a limitation. As you probably know, the server need to be close to the data. We are not able to provide installed service of Sage, Akamai, Danacom through SharePoint and OneDrive, by example. We need to play with the online services or share the service through an infrastructure as AVD. We will talk about that in a few minutes. CAD or big data or designing could be a showstopper too, depending of the application that access the data. Collaboration. If your customer need a real time, multiple access in same time, SharePoint is the target for sure. But the SMB or SMB over quick is not designed for this collaboration need. So as I mentioned from a few seconds ago, it's always depend of the customer needs and many solution could be applied in same time too. Methodology about the data in the server by itself. So, by example, if we move Team, SharePoint, and OneDrive, Microsoft already have this kind of tool. But between you and me, our support department with Carl's team already have experience, and we are a third-party application distributor about that. So we can assist you to design and go with a project regarding the data migration between on-prem to the cloud. So we have tool and experience about that. We can help you. Copy and paste could be great too, depending of the quantity of the data for sure. The virtual disk could be moved or import from the on-prem to the cloud too. It's feasible to do that. When we talk about bigger storage, up from 40 terabyte and hopper, Microsoft have a service called Databox. We are able to rent a Databox with hard drive. We move locally the data. We move the Databox to the Microsoft data center, and Microsoft just re-import the data directly in the cloud. Could be an idea, but it's for big enterprise for sure. We need to pay for that. Regarding the server, the most of the case, we will restart from scratch a new server, deploy security, import data, and install application. Fresh start, the most of the case. But sometimes we need to do a lift and shift for different reason. If the customer already have the operating system with application and the design and the installation disk, the installation guy is no more available, yes, we can do a lift and shift. We can do a kind of V2V from on-prem, from Hyper-V VMware, physical server, virtual server from private cloud to OVH, by example, could be done to import inside Microsoft. Small or bigger environment too is feasible. Web application from IIS, by example, could be imported too. Let's talk about platform as a service and software as a service. So first, the software as a service, Windows 365. The target customer is probably more the single user. So we don't natively sharing possibility between PC. So this concept is more for a end user where he want to play with the PC in the cloud to don't be limited with the hardware and infrastructure from home, from on the road and other place. So when a customer want to have a PC in the cloud to have the same experience depending where he connect from, the PC cloud, Windows 365, pardon me, is a good this is a good software, pardon me, this is a good opportunity to deploy with the customer. Um, Compared to AVD, where the target customer is more multi-user, where we talk something like RDS, RDP, terminal server. We will see it in a few minutes. So when we compare both product, we need to understand the target customer are different and the perspective of the tool or the services are different too. So AVD is a share host configuration. I mean, we will share infrastructure, CPU, RAM, network, disk to multiple user. So we will split the bill for the machine. Compared to Windows 365, the ratio is 1 to 1. So if you have more than one user, you will need more than one Windows 365 too. So this is a monthly payment based on SKU size. So, and some edition, because yes, we have 3 edition on Windows 365, Enterprise, Business, and Frontline. So depending of them, there is some opportunity of limitation. So we need to take care about that. So this is very a specific design of opportunity for a customer. Honestly, we play a lot with AVD. This is more flexible and we reach a lot of customer with that. Let's play with the second one, RDS versus AVD. So server terminal, this is a Windows component, which allow a user to launch a desktop or application on a remote computer based on Windows Server through a network connection. So roughly, this is on-prem local infrastructure, as we can see here. The port uses 3389, as we know. Yes, for sure, you are able to do port redirection, but this is only under the port. And to be secure, we need to use a VPN just to be sure we protect and secure the connectivity between the 2 points, the customer and the company. Compared to the Azure Virtual Desktop, this is a service base on Azure which allow a user to launch desktop and application also on a remote computer also based on Windows Server and Windows Workstation beyond the internet without any VPN. Here's the catch. This is the difference. So both of them can play at the same level, desktop application and Windows Server operating system, but Windows Workstation and Port 443 and Azure Services is different from Azure Virtual Desktop. So keep in mind, AVD is not really a new product by itself, but it's a new manner to connect remotely. We don't connect through the port 389, we connect through the port 443. Microsoft taking care about the SSL certificate. We'll see that later in the presentation, don't worry. So AVD is a new manner to connect to a remote machine. And for sure, this is Azure available. So there is some manner to deploy on-prem, but this is for bigger company with other product and other services, but natively is available from Azure only. So this is the reason why. Let's see here. Yes, we are. So server terminal on the left. We see the most simple model as server with port 3389, exposed and without VPN. Redirected or not, this is the same story. Okay, the image here is the scenario where there is no RDRS broker and gateway. Remember, it was the original architecture recommended by the manufacturer. Unfortunately, today we still saw this scenario too often. It's so simple, it's too easy to do that. We understand this is not the best way, this is not the suitable way, but this is the way the most of the time we saw. The notification once connected established, so it's already too late. To ensure security, it's require a VPN or more complex difficulty for end user. So compared to the Azure Virtual Desktop on the right, no VPN required. Microsoft take care about the broker and the gateway. It's already included in the service. Remember, AVD is a service from Azure. And the SSL certificate as well is already provided by Microsoft. So setting up the infrastructure is more simpler for sure. Between you and me, roughly less than 1 hour to deploy an EVD. Compared to the server terminal, it could be longer for sure. As we can see on the right, the end user experience could be similar, but the architecture, security, accessibility are totally different. As I said, Microsoft taking care about the broker and the gateway. And we are linked to the Azure Active Directory, call it Entra. And as needed, we are able to play with Azure with the Active Directory too, depending of the model of. So the security purpose is not the same from AVD. For sure is stronger and better. So the question is, what is AVD? In simple answer, it's like RDS, but much better. AVD can offer the user experience on Windows 10 and 11, Windows Server 2016, 19, 22, and 25 for sure. Microsoft take care about the broker and gateway and SSL certificate, as I mentioned. Natively, several options are included with AVD. VM management, by example, as we can see right now, we can play with the performance and the capacity. Remember what I said at the beginning, Azure is elastic, so we can play with the performance at the machine. So anywhere, anytime, we only need to reboot to get more or less power. Publish desktop and application is the same way as RDP. Remember, AVD is not a new methodology, but a new method to connect. So this is exactly the same concept. We can share desktop and application as well. Connection and user management is done at the same way as on our DS. So as you can see, right-click Task Manager, so we can see the user, we can disconnect or log off. This is the same way. User access management is done by Active Directory or Azure Active Directory, already included into the contract. So the smaller company can play with those security features for nothing. It's already included. Some diagnostic tool and reporting report are always available. All that give you the opportunity to make good decision to align cost and performance on customer services. There are two manners to connect AVD, like the old RDS. First, the installed application. There is some type and version, so we can have a flat installation. And the second way is the web portal as the RDS. Here, of course, the end user experience is less. This kind of lightweight compared to the installed application, of course. What we need to remember here, the application can be deployed as usual. In case where the end user lost or broke the computer, he can get access fastly and easily through the web portal. And remember, all that with the Entra ID, so the security is still the same. AVD opportunity. So let's talk about opportunity here. So as mentioned, AVD is a new connectivity method to the workstation and the server. So from Azure perspective, you can reduce the IT cost. The customer pay the right price, only what they need, and he can expand the performance and he pay for what he use. After that, he can raise back or downsize back and just pay for what you use exactly. Moving from capex to opex could be great opportunity for the customer too. When you already have terminal server or DS infrastructure, could be a great way to replace them. Migration from to the cloud. Sometimes we have contact with the customer and they request it directly to get rid of the on-prem and move to the cloud to have this to get opportunity of the cloud. Get rid of the infrastructure for sure, and better elasticity, pardon me, as I said many time ago. So scale up and scale down and scale in, scale out. So we are able to add more or remove machine or get bigger or smaller machine. Merge and acquisition, short-term employee, remote worker, geographically distributed, bring your own device, collaborator could be good opportunity to deploy VD2. Those opportunity could be great for you to have a discussion with your customer. The benefit behind that, for sure, the personalized experience, Windows desktop or application, workstation or server as usual. Any device, computer, mobile, and thin client. Yes, thin client still use it, we some must about the computer for sure. Centralized and easier management, all the portal from Azure, Microsoft Admin Center 2, secure connection, MFA, conditional access, SSL, it's already included, and cost optimization, as I told from the beginning, access to a shared VM. So more user connected to a VM, less the price is. So could be great. The difference between both data center, remember we have two data center in Canada. So difference between Canada Central from Toronto, we have the availability zone. This feature is more for the bigger industry for sure. By example, if you have transactional IIS, SQL, or something like that, and the customer already have 3 instances of them, they can put eggs into different basket. So as you can see, the data center is split or divide in 3 segments. Each segment is a building, and each building is provided by internet, electricity, and other stuff like that. So if we put eggs in different basket and one drop out, two left. So this is a kind of high availability concept. So, but it's for the bigger company, as I said, but it's good to know. After that, the GPU. So if you have a customer who play with AutoCAD, Mechanical Stop, Inventor, SolidWorks, other stuff like that could be great. Remember, we are limited regarding the frame rate about that. So if you go to play with that regarding the animation or walkthrough or something like that, could be not a good idea. But to do some mechanical design, application, piping, electrical, something like that, could be very great. And remember, we are able to play many user on the same machine, so we split the bill. Um, the last one, oh, where's my graph? Here we are. The sponsored subscription. The MPN or the non-profit, by example, is limited to Canada Central. So the question about that, how to choose the right data center for your customer, for your client. It's easy. Take the closest with the least latency. And the second, depending on the option available. If your customer is a non-profit, it's simple, Canada Central. If your customer need to play with GPU, simple too. But if your customer is close to Quebec, to Canada East from Quebec, Montreal, could be great to select Canada East too to have the small latency. So this is not complicated. You only need to choose the closer one. Another way, it's not a bad idea to split too. It's your business organization or orientation or decision. You can split the customer between both, but we saw that this is not a recommendation, but we saw that from other resellers too, depending of the customer region or something like that. Could be a great idea. Let's play with the bandwidth billing. This is under the part of the story here. Okay, here we are. Two things we want to share with you today. The concept of the egress data and the difference between inter-region and internet egress. Okay, let's talk about that. We talk about the monthly base concept. Remember, it's a bit like the old mobile phone plan from telco. We had X number of minutes per month in our plan, and we paid a few cents per additional minute. From Azure perspective, what we need to understand is from customer side, the customer pay for the internet connection. Okay, today the most of the customer already have unlimited connection. Okay, but you understand the concept. From Azure perspective, all incoming connection are free of charge, but the outgoing, the egress data could be charged. I mean, by design, each server, each service per month have 100 of gig to egress data capacity already included in the monthly fee. In other words, if you play under the 100, you will not be charged or overcharged. If you play more, if you consume more, if you create traffic, you will or your customer will be charged depending of the kind of. Regarding the price of outbound data transfer could be vary between 3 to 12 cents per gig. It's not a deal breaker, but we need to understand. And it's always depend of the region and the type of the transfer. For sure, this concept will be covered during our second appointment. But what we need to understand right now is when we move or when we use the transfer from Azure to Internet, you have, or the customer already have 100 gig per month for Internet egress. And when we play between inter-region, between Canada Center to East, by example, we have 5 gigs per month. Depending of the communication channel, by example, through VPN, could be applied too. But remember, it's only egress data. Between you and me, the most of the case when we talk about EVD, by example, 100 is enough. It's not a big deal. Remember, from AVD perspective technology, we only need provide keyboard, mouse, and screen. So this is a cheap connection methodology. So the bandwidth is very, very small. So don't care about that. And remember from Azure perspective too, when we are from AVD connection, when a end user consume internet, consume video, radio, or download some stuff, whoop, sorry about that. When the end user consume data from internet, this is incoming. This is not a big deal. You need to remember the machine is on this side and the customer is on this side. So we provide information, keyboard, video, and mouse, only that. So the bandwidth need to be, how can I say that? We need to take care about that. But the most of the case of AVD, it's not a big deal. But let's talk about the next slide, where the mention is a little bit different. Just take water. Now, it's easy here to understand that the data transfer concept that we have just talked about have an impact on the design of the backup, where or what I want to talk about right now. There could be a direct consequence on traffic and on the invoice. Each type of backup has its advantage and disadvantage. There is no wrong answer, just a bad recommendation on to apply to the customer scenario. It's always depend. Remember, the final answer from Azure perspective is always the same. It's depend, but it's flexible. We can play with that. You first have a discussion with the customer and see what their goal is. If you want to pull all eggs in the different basket or not. If you want to manage service like 5-star services with as backup, by example. If you want to sample services, if they already have a service or technology in place that they can support Azure. So we can play with the backup from and for Azure. There is a service of backup. The service by itself is already included. This is not a software, this is a service. We only need to mark the checkbox, configure the concept, and here we go. The backup is already started. So this is a service of backup. You get what you see. It's simple. The pricing according to use, it's depend of the storage quantity. So the price is flexible and we have different type of storage: local redundant or geo redundant. Remember, we have two data center in Canada, so we can put eggs in different basket. We can have server Canada East and backup Canada Central. If something wrong happened with Canada East, by example, so there is some natural out of control impact could happen to broke the data center. So we need to be aware of and propose protection to the customer. So we can play with that. Depending of the quantity, the price will be vary. We will see that in the second appointment for sure. We will have a deep dive regarding the price of the Azure backup. Also, outside of Azure, we can play with that from as backup or Acronis, as we already are a official provider for them. But remember the surprise: when we go outside, there is an impact regarding the egress data. So the egress data is impacted by the outgoing quantity data. Remember, could have a recovery time. When we are inside, we don't go outside. We recover inside Azure. So it's fast and easy. Few click of mouse. The same guy design Azure can easily deploy a restore. We are able to restore file level and operating system level. Outside, maybe you can need or request a third party activity. So ask or request someone else to do that. So it could be something wrong regarding recovery time. And some distributor could have some recovery fee regarding the package. And remember, the data is out of Azure. So depending where you are, when you need to recover to Azure. Most of the time, the bandwidth of the customer or bandwidth of the distributor is roughly big. So it's not a big deal. That's most of the time. But you need to take it in consideration too. So it's always depend what the customer needs. Something included, easy to manipulate, easy to restore, or something outside, more protected, but more complicated. It's always depend. As I said, there is no wrong answer about that, just bad recommendation. We need to understand what the customer needs. Regarding the bandwidth, about as backup by example, the most of the case we have customer with Sage, a Comba, something like that, and we only do the backup of the application by itself. So the footprint of the daily churn, they are no so bigger. So the 100 gigs per month is not a big deal. But compared to the Acronis or other solution like Veeams, by example, this is not the same game. because here the churn is bigger. You back up the differential of the VM by itself, not only from the database, not only from the file. So depending of the reason, depending of the customer needs, pardon me, we need to estimate and evaluate this kind of scenario. Next slide, please. Azure margin and monthly commission. A good question. A freaking question. What are the margin about Azure? You can see it by yourself depending of your partner level and your invoicing model. I mean, are you a direct or indirect, prepaid or credit card? So it's easy to see by yourself. Go into your IT Cloud partner portal, click on the link regarding the documentation, download the Program Partner Global, the PPG, go to the Azure section, and see by yourself what is your level of partnership and which kind of invoicing model. Just for your information regarding Azure, there is manner to get bigger or better partner level depending of the quantity or the bigger invoice you have. And it's possible too to have multiple invoicing model. I mean, a customer could be direct, and another one could be indirect. It's always depends. So we are flexible about that. You are not tight regarding the invoicing model. If you have any question regarding that, I am here to help you eventually to answer your question about the invoicing. Just take a shortcut about that. Microsoft Partner Network, old name MPN, today called the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program. Just to tell you there is some advantage to be member of this program. So you can have some license Office 365, by example, included into your package. You can have some partner incentive, some percentage of kickback regarding your consumption of customer for sure. You can have some Azure credit too. So you can have an Azure subscription for you to do some proof of concept, test, training, or other stuff like that. It's your money, it's your Azure credit. Access support and services from Microsoft directly, and some marketing benefit. So you can have access directly with that from the partner program. I will share you in the chat right now. There we go. Perfect. See here, Majida, our Microsoft program manager. You can have a talk with her to get more information. What is the program, how you can be member of, and what is the price, what is the limitation, advantage, blah, blah, blah. Majida is there for you. Oh, sorry about the French. Oops, I need to adjust my deck. So Majida is our Microsoft program manager in English. Sorry about that. And another tool too. Steve Noel last week or the week before, I don't remember. Steve do a webinar. Thanks a lot, Sylvain. So see by yourself in the chat. Steve already do a webinar about unlocking success with Microsoft partnership, designation, benefit, and incentive. Directly what I'm talking right now. This is the Cloud Partner Program. So something like 1 hour, Steve told you what is the difference, what is the origin, what is the goal, blah, 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 some stuff like that. So this is a good video to you to have a look, to have better understanding. But as usual, Majida is there if you need or any extra question. Billing mechanics. Okay, so this part is the more tricky one. Okay. Um, we will see that in the second appointment, but I want to start to talk about that just to let you know some basic concept. Um, just for your information, just to let you know, I already provide a training about that, and only the slide I spend roughly 1 hour to tell you about where the price is coming, how is right now, and what could be. So the billing mechanics is not complicated, it's only complex from Microsoft perspective as usual. So let's talk let's talk about that to be simple today, but let's deep dive about that on the next appointment. What I want to share with you here today is okay, I got it. So day first, when you spin up an Azure subscription, everything is from pays as you go concept, hourly rate. You pay for what you use. By example, if you delete your VM, you delete your resources, you don't pay. If your VM is up and running, you pay for that. If you shut down your VM, oh, you don't pay for the resource by itself. They are not used. There is no electricity with. So, by example, CPU and RAM, you're still paying for the data for sure because the storage of the data is for you instead of the VM is connected or not. The network card is not used, you don't pay for that. So this kind of concept and model, we'll see that later in the next appointment. But today, I want to keep you in mind, when you start a VM, you are at pays as you go. You pay for what you use. The first idea about Microsoft regarding that was, by the past, you use it and after that you delete it. It's for a temporary usage. But today, we have some potential or saving option capacity to save money. Because for sure, I will be honest, the pay-as-you-go price is too higher. We need to move to Azure Hybrid Benefit, move to Reserve Instance, and eventually for the bigger enterprise from to saving plan. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. When you play with a machine, remember you pay for what you use. You use the infrastructure, you use the backup, and you use the license too. I talk about license regarding operating system and application too. Okay. So when you spin up a server, you need to pay the license of Windows. There is a manner to save money about that, to move from a monthly rate to a commitment rate. I mean, if your customer already have a software agreement, the most of the case is for the bigger industry, but we never know. If your customer have a software assurance from an agreement, he can move or import the license into Azure. The most of the case from the SMB, no. So here we are from us, from CSP, Cloud Service Provider. We can provide a Windows license and move from pays as you go hourly rate to monthly or yearly rate. For sure, you will save, or the customer will save a lot of money about that, depending of the size and the quantity. So we talk about big money on monthly and yearly. Let's see about that in the next appointment. I don't want to talk money number here, but just to provide you the concept. Next one, the reserve instance. It's simple to understand. We use instance, we pay as you go. You can have a commitment to have a fixed price. It's like everywhere. When we pay in advance, because we have a commitment, we have a discount. It's like a gift card. You are able to prepaid monthly, yearly too, but it's no making sense from SMB perspective. So you pay on monthly base in advance your consumption. You know about that anyway. Your machine will be up and running 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. So you know about that. So you prepaid from a reserve instance and you will have a discount about that. Let's see the next slide about the percentage of discount. So this feature, this saving option must be done of day one or close to first week, first month, something like that. you need to do that. The saving plan, as I said, is for bigger enterprise. So you can save money on some instance and some service, but there is difference between the two agreements. Let's see about that next slide. So Azure billing concept. So here we are. When we start, we are in pay-as-you-go model. There is four style of Azure billing. We can move from pay-as-you-go to reserve instance, saving plan, and the last one, the spot instance. But this guy is no more used. It's for a specific situation. Just talk about this one right now. So this one let you buy unused Azure consumption capacity. But the name is not for nothing. So it's spot. When they want, Azure can stop on the spot the machine. So it's not for productive environment. It's for tests, proof of concept, sometimes like that, but not for operating 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. It's not for the SMB. It's for test purpose. Okay. So what we need to understand here, the reserve instance is the go the go-to feature. We need to involve this. The saving plan for bigger enterprise, let's see later, and spot for specific situation. The idea behind that is fix and reduce the price is the goal. Let's see deeper. Okay, what is a reserve instance? Is a predefined commitment between Microsoft and the customer for 1 or 3 years contract. You can save up to 70%. We don't talk about price right now, but imagine the percentage. So you save a lot on the instance by itself. It's applicable on service and in a specific data center or a given region by itself. And the major point is with a cancellation policy. Okay, I need to be honest. From 3 years ago, this is always the same song from the Microsoft. There is a cancellation policy about that, and there is no early termination fee regarding the agreement. But it could be 12% of the rest of the agreement. But as I said, from 3 years and a half, it always the same song. I don't have any crystal balls. I can guarantee that, but it was like that from the beginning. And during this time, the saving plan appears, and this guy doesn't have a cancellation policy. Oh, so they are complementary services. They are not competitive. So we need to understand about that. The saving plan is a commitment to be defined by yourself. You need to estimate the amount of money. Ooh, is a bit. So between customer and Microsoft, you need to decide of the amount of the money of the contract. It's not a big. It's not easy to do, but we are here to give you support about that. Don't worry. This is 1 or 3 years contract too. You can save up to 65% of the overflow of the pays as you go. What's mean is from a billing perspective, Microsoft always start the invoice by the reserve instance. The rest of the invoice it will be applied by the saving plan. And at the end, the pays as you go term is done by the invoice, pardon me. So you can do like lasagna by step by level into the invoice. Let's talk about that into the next appointment anyway. And this is applicable on some service of a given subscription. Oh, what's mean if your customer have services around the globe, it could be great. It's not limited to a given region. It's around the globe. This is not the same game. It's why I told you this is for bigger enterprise and without any cancellation policy for rest, for sure. So take care about that. What we need to keep in mind, where is my picture? Thanks a lot. So roughly, as I said, the reserve instance is like a gift card. You can play for a specific service, specific region. And the saving plan is more like a credit card. You can play every world around about that. Remember, pay attention. These additional subscriptions are totally independent of the server and the service. What's mean? This is another commitment between Microsoft and the customer. So whatever happens to the subscription, by example, if you cancel your Azure subscription, if you delete the machine, if you move the machine, if you resize the machine, the commitment of the reserve instance and the saving plan remain. So it's a bit like a car in insurance. There is two joint service, but they are independent. If you cancel your car, don't forget to cancel the other, the insurance. Conclusion: if you close your subscription, don't forget to cancel the reserve intent and saving plan or any other item from the marketplace too. In other words, when you close your Azure subscription or the customer subscription, give us a call and we will help you to don't forget nothing about that. It's very, very important because too many times we saw that reseller and customer delete the VM, close the subscription, and you know what? Other subscription as marketplace, reserve instance, saving plan, Windows subscription too for the operating system license, still alive. And the bill continue. This is not a good idea, but that the customer will not happy for sure. So remember about that. When you get rid of your card, don't forget the insurance and other third-party contract you can involve. Let's talk about the AVD license by itself. There are several licensing methods for AVD. Here we will focus on just one. I mean the Office 365 license. In other words, bring your own license. Okay. Um, I will be simple of that. From Microsoft perspective, to be able to play with AVD, you will need a VDA license. It's like by the past with the server. When you play with the RDS, you needed about the RDS Cal 2. But we will talk in a few minutes about that. So the concept is similar from AVD. From a workstation perspective, Windows 10 and Windows 11, you will need pardon me, you will need a VDA access per user license. It's not per machine. Pay attention here. It's a per user. The rules queue about that is Microsoft 365 Business Premium for sure, which allow the user to benefit from both. The VDA license are included into Business Premium F3 and E3 and in 5. We don't talk about student today because for sure we're talking about commercial, and we don't talk about education too. For sure, there is manner to have access per user only for VDA purpose. Let's talk about that into my next slide. But what I want to share with you from a end user perspective, for sure, you need to pay the access from the VM by itself. But for sure, the customer will have about the access of application and the service too. What I mean, the Office suite, Word, Excel, and Outlook for sure. Oh yes, the Business Premium suite allow you share installation mode, what we call the Pro Plus version by the past. Online services too, Exchange Online, OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams, and a lot of security tools too. Sylvain is there. Sylvain can share with us about the security purpose regarding business premium and orders queue. This is a big advantage for our customer to go with this kind of online SKU. Um, in the case of an AVD under Windows Server, just add RDS Cal, either within Active Software Assurance or in CSP distribution channel at ID Cloud by example. So roughly what we need to understand here, we are talking about server. We need to have CALs too. So we can play again with the user subscription and with the device CAL too. So if you need any assistance about that, we are there to do the estimate of usage. So it's not a big deal regarding that. But remember, the EVD access requests a VDA license. This is a per user license. And this license is already included in some package. Let's jump about that. Here we go. Here is the scenario available in bring your own device user licensing scenario. Please, oh, sorry about the French. I need to take care about that. So this is a order for a new customer, for a new client. So first thing first, always validate the price because sometime Microsoft changed the price. The slide for today is supposed to be updated. So the price could be correct, but never trust me about the price, I mean, and always validate the price from the card. So the scenario are there. Tomorrow, if you have a customer who want to play with AVD, but for different reason, he only need the VDA access, only the access for the VM. Because, by example, the customer won't play with Lotus 123 or something like that, or internal product and application. The customer doesn't need any Exchange server application, Word, Excel. Okay, there is a way for that. So the Windows 10 and 11, the price you saw the price here is only to AVD access. The another scenario, you can access to AVD, Office mobile apps, and Teams. For different reason, if the customer need to play with AVD, but need to chat or share application with Teams and communication, could be an idea. This is a scenario about that, and see here the price. But as I said, the Aero SKU, the Microsoft 365 Business Premium, this is the SKU. You can play with AVD, play with Office, install suite from the Pro Plus and Teams as well. And you have all the rest of services 365, Exchange, Team, SharePoint, and blah, blah, blah. So the most of the time when we play with DVD, Microsoft 365 is involved. And Sylvain, we will have a slide about that in a few minutes regarding some opportunity about this queue. As I said, when we play with a server too, we need the user cal. So depending of user or device cal. The scenario about the user is like by the past. By example, if we have a shop with many user on the same device, by example, to data entry or just punch clock or something like that, when many user from the same device, we can play with the device cal license is cheaper and this is more designed for this kind of opportunity. So here from the card where you are able to get those feature. Next slide. It will be for my friend Sylvain.
Thank you, Sebas. Yeah, there is no better time right now to consider some of these promos, and especially due to the fact that at this moment there is a 15% reduction in price, a promo on Business Premium. Now, this was just announced this month in January. The promo is good or valid, I should say, until the end of March or April 1st to be exact. Now, as Sebas was mentioning before, when we are talking about Azure, we're talking about Azure Virtual Desktop. we need a client access license, in this case, a VDA or virtual desktop access client license. And that is included in Business Premium. And as well as Sebastian stated before, we also have in Business Premium what is called shared computer activation, which permits us to use our Office 365 productivity suite, in that virtual machine as well. And there's also another little feature. I don't think we mentioned it, but it permits you to upgrade your edition of Windows. Now, it's not your version, but it's your edition. What we mean by that is it doesn't permit you to go from Windows 10 to Windows 11, but what it does is it permits you to go from Windows 10 Professional to Windows 10 Enterprise. So if you have some clients that have some more advanced features that they need within the Windows operating system, so once again, Business Premium, is that hero's cube. Now, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about security, obviously, because that's my solution area. So within Business Premium, we have the opportunity through Purview information protection. We can send encrypted emails. We can create sensitivity labels and apply that to files, that to have sensitive content, in the sense that we can control who does what with which files. We also have data loss prevention policies that we can put in place. We also have data retention policies that we can put in place. We already have built-in sensitive information type filters that right off the bat we can use to prevent people from sending out credit card numbers by email, let's say. So as well, we have an anti-spam through Defender for Office 365, which also comes with Business Premium. And then, of course, the famous conditional access. The best way to do that is obviously, cost-wise, is to use Business Premium. It also comes with Intune. We use our device management platform, which we also use to create our security policies in regards to antivirus, because Defender for Business also comes with Business Premium, which permits us to elevate, to a corporate and enterprise level, the antivirus that comes with the standard operating system, which we consider to be, more of a customer level antivirus. We also have other promos for the upsell of Microsoft 365 E3 to E5. That would be in the case where you would have a customer that has more than 300 users, in their tenant. Now, obviously, Microsoft 365 E3 is that entry level security SKU for those enterprise customers, unless they're able to if they want to go all the way, obviously, to Microsoft 365 E5, where then we have everything comes in premium plan too, which is basically all the top features of every one of those security solutions that I enumerated before. And as well, we have a continuing Microsoft 365 Copilot promo, which has been extended. Originally, that promo was set to end December 31st of 2024, but it has been extended to April 1st as well. And it really coincides with Business Premium. When we have that Copilot discussion, a lot of the time we'll have that security discussion. Now, it's not because of Copilot we should necessarily have that security discussion. Copilot already has, built-in security features, and the beauty of it is it also respects, that built-in security within Microsoft. So obviously, when we use Business Premium to elevate our security, we're also elevating the security associated with Copilot. We also have IURs available. Now, what is that? That's an individual user rights. What does that mean? That means that Microsoft is making available now for some partners, depending, on your score. And how do you determine your score? Well, it depends on your status with Microsoft, depending on your solution designations, depending on certifications you and your staff might have. In regards to all those criteria, you accumulate a certain number of points. When you reach a certain level, it entitles you to have access to one, two, three, four, five, free Copilot licenses. So they are available now free of charge for partners, obviously, but you need to qualify. And we also have, that launched back in December of last year. We have the option now of having our yearly Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot pilot commitment, we now have the option of having it billed monthly, which we did not have before. Next slide, Sebas.
Yes, here we go. So next appointment. So we can met together on session 2, March 4 from this is the French time. So this is in afternoon, the same time for today from 2 p.m. Apologize about that. So we need to update the slide. But anyway, we can just scan the QR code, click on the link, or probably Sylvain will share the link of the appointment web page in the chat in a few seconds. So you can just register yourself and right away to be sure to you have your seat for your next session. Here we go. Perfect. So nice tapping. Thanks a lot. Next slide about the YouTube. So Sylvain will share the link too in the chat, or you can click the QR code on the link. As you know, our presentation webinar is always available from our YouTube channel. So if you want to provide and share this presentation with your coworker, because they are not on the assist right now, so they can do that later. It's not a big deal. Next one, book a call with our Microsoft specialist. So click on scan right now if you want to have a discussion regarding Azure with me, license with me, security with Sylvain, or IT Cloud Academy with Steve, or maybe MPN program, as I said during the presentation with Majida. Everything is there from this calendar. This is your all stop. You are able to book everybody from the specialist team to have a good discussion and see what we can do to help you. Next slide, the evaluation. Please provide us information to understand if the session was useful to you. If you have another subject you want to cover, so we want to improve our webinar into the future. So don't be shy to share information or make us requests about that. You can have the link in the chat too from Sylvain. Thanks a lot. Next one, the frequented asked question. I think so, Sylvain. We don't have nothing from the chat.
I don't see anything at the moment, and I don't see anything in the Q&A section either. So please don't hesitate if people have questions. We're here to answer any of your questions.
Anyway, we will see us together at the next appointment. During this time, anyway, you have access to our calendar. You can send us direct an email if you need. As usual, this is the 5-star services from iCloud. We are your distributor, so we are here for you. So everybody, thanks a lot to be there today. Thanks to joining us. So let's see the next appointment in March. Thanks a lot. See you.